A wave of warmth entered her mouth, gently wending its way inward. Mu Jing began to take the lead, his 10 fingers clasping hers. Delicate and slender, lead her to lose control. The man leaned back on the sofa and let out a suggestive tone. Cheng Shuan was crouched on the ground, head lowered, carefully wiping up the water from the cup that Mu Jing had knocked over with her hands, drop by drop. Once she had finished, she stood up, frowned at him, and gave Mu Jing, who was sprawled unconscious from drunkenness, a quick, disdainful glance. If you're calling yourself so provocative, who are you trying to seduce? Mu Jing raised his head, his gaze hazy as he stared at the woman before him. Her eyes, pale pink with slightly upturned corners, glowed a scarlet hue, glowing with excitement as if she had just spotted her prey. He stood up at 1.8 meters tall. He was a full 20 centimeters taller than Cheng Shuan. Let me tell you, your sister asked me to take care of all right, fine. Before she could even finish the 2- character phrase, Cheng Shiyuan's lips were already sealed by another pair of lips, Mu Jing's lips. Cheng Shiyuan's mind went completely blank, and all she could clearly hear was the ticking of the wall clock's hands. Mu Jing raised his head, pinched Cheng Shiyuan's chin with his hand, and said in a mesmerizing voice, "Sister, you're so beautiful and your lips are so soft." Cheng Shiyuan frowned, staring at Mu Jing before her. Just as she was about to speak, his lips once again silenced her. A wave of warmth entered her mouth, gently wending its way inward. Mu Jing began to take the lead, his 10 fingers clasping her fingertips so delicate they seemed almost fragile. With his other hand, he lightly massaged her back, and the fabric of her clothes began to wrinkle under the pressure of his strong fingers. Mu Jing slowly closed in on her, until finally Cheng Shuan was backed against the wall, her head gently shielded by his hand. Cheng Shuan used all her strength to push Mu Jing away. Her clear, apricot-colored eyes stared fiercely at Mu Jing. "Mu Jing, are you crazy?" "Him? Not crazy. I want to kiss you." Having finished speaking, Mu Jing again wanted to lower his head and kiss her. With a sharp slap, her palm landed crisply on his handsome face. "Mu Jing, I'm your sister." Mu Jing gave a cold smirk. The instant he raised his head, his gaze instantly shifted from icy and menacing to obedient and compliant, and even his voice took on a coy, teasing tone. Just not even my real sister." Mu Jing deliberately put on a pitiful expression, showing Cheng Shuan the very same face that had just been slapped. "Sister, you've already hurt me." For a moment, Cheng Shuan was thrown into a panic. She had apparently been a bit too rough just now. As she looked at the faintly reddened mark on Mu Jing's face, she hesitated for a moment with her hand raised, but in the end, she lowered it and turned her head away. The instant she lowered her hand, Mu Jing grabbed her wrist, tilted his head down, and leaned closer to Cheng Shuan. "Sister, you've already hurt me. Don't you think you owe me some emotional compensation?" Cheng Shuan leaned against the wall, her body feeling slightly warm. After all, the two of them had been standing too close to each other. "I'll treat you to a big meal tomorrow, okay?" "Now." Mu Jing gave a pitiful look, resembling a little dog drenched in the rain. "I want to eat right now. Where did this feast come from now?" "You are." For a split second, Cheng Shuan felt as if her brain was about to explode. Mu Jing was only 19. Did he even realize what he was saying? All right, Mu Jing, be good. You're drunk, you know. Your sister asked me to take care of you, so you need to go to sleep nicely now, okay? No, sister. So, what do you want to do? Sister, have you ever tasted what it's like to be with a man? Cheng Shuan was completely stunned. Just who had corrupted Mu Jing, the once obedient little brother of Mu Qingyao. After all, he was only 19 years old. "Sister, I'm already an adult." In 19 years old, Mu Jing seemed to have mind reading abilities, as if he could see right through Cheng Shiyuan's inner thoughts. 19. You're still just a clueless kid. Stop messing around. Mu Jing. Mu Jing raised his right hand and gently cupped her slender waist, lightly pinching it. He brushed the tip of his nose against her cheek and said, "Still a baby? Why don't you let your big sister give it a try and see for yourself?" Mu Jing. Cheng Shiyuan was once again forcibly kissed by him. Cheng Shiyuan struggled desperately to push him away, but he held her firmly in place. When had he gotten so strong? Mu Jing's kiss looked dominant, but in reality it was incredibly gentle. He was afraid of hurting the little person in his arms. As their lips and tongues met, he explored cautiously, just as long as she didn't try to break free. Cheng Shiyuan's cheeks were burning hot. Mu Jing, stop. He didn't listen instead. He went even further. He reached out and pulled off Cheng Shiyuan's pajama jacket, revealing a small patch of pale, delicate shoulder. Tears welled up in Cheng Shiyuan's eyes, and she felt deeply wronged. After all, she'd only promised her best friend that she'd take good care of her drunken younger brother. Now she was about to throw her whole self into this mess. Mu Jing kissed her passionately. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw tears glistening at the corner of Cheng Shiyuan's eyes. His gaze grew solemn, and his heart softened. He looked up at Cheng Shiyuan, his expression once again shifting to one of gentle languor, before finally collapsing onto her shoulder. His warm lips lightly rested on her shoulder, and Cheng Shiyuan's eyelids slowly lifted slightly. "Sister, I'm so sleepy." Finally, Mu Jing fell completely silent. Chidi just lost all his energy, and it left her momentarily speechless. She hoisted Mu Jing's body up, helped him into the room, and laid him down on the bed. Utterly exhausted herself, she glanced at Mu Jing with caution. Mu Jing, Mu Jing, Mu Jing. But there was no response. Finally, she poked his cheek again with her finger, but still, there was no reaction. Cheng Shiyuan finally let down her guard and patted her chest. Thankfully, she'd fallen asleep. She glanced down at Mu Jing, frowned, and began to worry about tomorrow. He probably wouldn't remember anything by tomorrow, would he? Right now? Isn't his memory already fragmented? Of course he wouldn't remember then. Cheng Shiyuan sighed, clenching her fists. She'd definitely have a serious talk with Mu Qingyao tomorrow. How could this older sister leave her own younger brother to be taken care of by her best friend? And the worst part is she'd almost. After closing the door to her room, Cheng Shiyuan went to another room to sleep. Mu Qingyao, are you trying to kill yourself? Do you even realize how drunk your little brother is? How deeply Hes passed out, how she lost her composure. For the last word, Cheng Shiyuan didn't say it, she pulled it back at the last moment. Ouch. My 10- you on baby, well, I'm on a business trip, so I just can't take care of him. If my parents found out He'd gotten so drunk in college, He'd probably lose all his skin. And you can't just casually hand him over to me like that. Oh my gosh, baby, what are you talking about? You're the one person I trust most in Zhongcheng. Besides you, who else could I possibly entrust with this? She's completely at ease, but Hes anything but reassuring. Cheng Shiyuan let out a helpless chuckle. If Mu Qingyao knew what her little brother had done last night, would she still be able to say something like that? Come on, honey, my little brother is so handsome. Did even a tiny bit of your heart flutter? Excited? Mu Qingyao, do you even know what you're saying? Hes only 19. 19. I'm already 24, Cheng Shiyuan said with a wry smile. What's wrong with 24? It's not even fully grown yet. She's only 23, just 5 years away. 5 years, that's all. Hold on. Cheng Shiyuan grew increasingly puzzled as she listened. Why did it feel like the two of them were a pair of siblings? Let me tell you, when I first met your younger brother, he was only 16th. Back then, he was still watching those, warriors or whatever. There's no way I could have ever accepted that. Anyway, Mu Qingyao, don't ever come to me again for something like this. I just can't afford to go through it a second time. First time? What were you guys doing last night? Mu Qingyao, I'm not talking to you anymore. Alright, alright. I'll stop teasing you. How about this? When I get back, I'll buy you the bag you've been eyeing. It'll be my little thank minus you gift for all the care you've given my younger brother, okay? Alright. After all, it cures all ailments. After hanging up the phone, Cheng Xiuan rubbed her temples, which felt swollen, and walked into the living room to pour herself a glass of water. But to her surprise, Mu Jing was already awake, leaning against the sofa with a clear, alert look in his eyes. There wasn't a trace of last night's drunkenness left in him at all. Cheng Xiuan's footsteps came to an abrupt halt, and his heart skipped a beat. Is she awake? Mu Jing raised his eyes and looked over at her. His gaze landed on her, and a half-minus smile, neither quite a smile nor quite a frown, curved his lips. His voice was hoarse from just waking up, yet perfectly clear. Sister, good morning. Cheng Xiuan's face turned pale in an instant. The images from last night surged up uncontrollably. She forced herself to remain calm and turned to head back to her room once you're awake. Just tidy up yourself. Your sister's away on a business trip. I'll go ahead and... Sister... Mu Jing called out to her, his tone laced with a touch of languid petulance. Are you not going to take responsibility for what happened last night? Cheng Xiuan's footsteps froze in place, and it felt as though all the blood in her body had turned to ice. She slowly turned around, meeting his deep, peach-colored eyes that clearly reflected her own frantic figure. You remember? Her voice was trembling. Mu Jing stood up and took a step closer to her, just as he had done last night, carrying with him an irresistibly oppressive presence. He kept closing in until Hed backed her into the corner of the wall, then finally stopped. Leaning slightly forward, his warm breath brushed against her ear as his voice dropped low and seductive. Sister, I not only remember, it's still fresh in my mind. You slapped me and then said you'd treat me to a big meal. Cheng Xiuan's cheeks instantly turned bright red, and she wished she could just sink into a crack in the ground. I was just drunk and talking nonsense. But I'm serious. Mu Jing's fingertips gently brushed across her cheek, where the mark from last night had already faded. But the touch sent a shiver through Cheng Xian. Sister, you hit me, you kissed me. Now you're trying to deny it? When did I kiss you? It was you who kissed me forcefully. Cheng Xiuan protested, visibly flustered. Mu Jing let out a low chuckle, his peach-colored eyes curving into a lovely arc. But carrying with them a hint of confident, almost predatory determination. Sister, last night it was you who asked me first, if I wanted to give it a try, wasn't it? Cheng Xiuan was completely speechless and could only stare at him, saying, Mu Jing, don't talk nonsense. You're only 19 us. I'm 19 adult now. Mu Jing interrupted her, his gaze locked firmly on hers. Legally, I can take responsibility for what I do. He raised his hand and gently pinched her chin with his fingertips. Just as he had done last night, his touch was tender yet subtly assertive. Sister, he said, last night you called me a greenhorn kid who hadn't even started to grow up. Well, how about now? Let me prove you wrong. Cheng Xiuan's heartbeat suddenly went haywire, as she looked at the young man standing before her, only 19 years old yet radiating the confident, determined aura of a mature man. She suddenly realized that she had somehow gotten herself into a mess she couldn't shake off. As Mu Jing watched her, flustered and at a loss for words, the smile in his eyes grew even deeper. He'd been waiting for this day for far too long. From the moment He'd first laid eyes on her at 16. He'd known as older sisters, he was someone he simply had to have. Last night's drunkenness had merely been an excuse to let down his guard and drop his facade. His sister can only be his.